Welcome all to another episode of your favorite podcast. Targo,
What's
it's the 4th
up,
of
man?
July episode, brother.
Just about, yeah.
Happy America Day. How are you, buddy?
America Day, yeah. Doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. America Day, man.
Nothing like a
brews and
couple
banter.
drunk, obnoxious Americans talking about
a sport
European sport.
they probably shouldn't be talking about. Yeah, that sounds pretty American to me. So, what are you drinking today, buddy?
I am drinking Matchless Tag Tropical IPA.
That's a cool looking can, man.
We'll see how it tastes. It is a pretty cool looking can. Honestly, that's kind of what I go for now. If the can grabs my attention, I'm like, sweet. And then I'll look at it and see if it's something I might like.
There you go.
And this is something I might like. I like it, man. This is a good one.
Okay.
I picked a winner.
I'm pretty excited, man. Tropical IPAs, they're hit or miss for me.
Usually, yep.
More often a hit than a miss, but they're good.
Today,
going with Old Faithful, no lie, big juicy IPA.
No Humble Abode this week, huh?
No, but I am wearing my Humble Abode t-shirt.
Oh, looks good.
So at least we got that going on. I see you're wearing your Dortmund jersey.
Yep.
Still, if they're ever in another title race, though, I'm going to have to tell you can't wear it because you might be bad luck.
It might be. Haven't worn it since that fateful day, so.
I know. It still hurts. And I'm not even a huge Dortmund fan. But those are our brews. Let's get to some banter. Welcome to Brews and Banter. Targo, we got a lot of news yet again. Transfer window hasn't even started for all of Europe, and it's nuts. It's nuts.
It is nuts.
And then we're going to preview some teams from last season. 2 of the top 4, Manchester United and Newcastle. What we thought of their year last year, how they can strengthen, and take a look at their first 5 games, which neither one have an easy schedule. So
I was looking at that Newcastle one, man. That's going to be tough.
That might be the hardest opening 5 games in the Premier League, but we'll get to that later. Before that, make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube channels. Links down below in the description, as well as our Redbubble. Check out our sweet merch we got going on there. Help us out. Continue to do this and make it bigger and better. So
and don't forget to give us 5 stars on all your podcast platforms.
Yes. Okay. Without any further ado, news and transfers. As the theme has been this entire transfer window, more transfers to Saudi clubs.
Saudi Arabia, man, getting everyone.
More. Yeah, it's nuts. One confirmed Roberto Firmino signed with Al Ahly. And then bids have been made to about 10 players. So we'll go through the list. And I guess we can talk about each one if we want. Some of them, let's out of 10, maybe rate likelihood that they leave.
Some make sense, some don't. Put it at that.
Let's start with one that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but could. And Bernardo Silva to Al Hilal.
Not at all makes sense, man. He's young, still got his best years ahead of him. Should be playing in Europe.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of is, Cristiano Ronaldo and Ruben Neves both play out there. They're probably like, hey, come join us. But if I'm Bernardo Silva, there's no way.
I just want a treble, bro. I'm trying to win some more.
Yeah. I mean, if he's going to leave, he's got options. He's got Barcelona and PSG both looking at him. So, yeah. All right. One that's been circling for a while. We got Marcelo Brozovic to Al Nassr.
Yeah, Inter Milan midfielder. That one I could see is a little bit older. I think he's 32, 31.
Somewhere around 30.
He's over 30, so I could see it. But I still think he's a good defender. Or midfielder, sorry.
Well, yeah, defensive midfielder. This one's tough for me. I think he probably goes. Just because of the money. He's not really ever gotten a giant contract in his career. So one of those, game-changing contracts for someone.
I could see it happen for sure.
Yeah. Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid to Al Nassr.
Saul, man. Didn't he play for Chelsea? He was on loan at Chelsea.
Yeah,
Played, maybe played. I don't even know.
I don't think so.
It's like that Arthur for Liverpool
Yeah,
situation.
Taylor Swift got more performances at Anfield than he did.
No, I mean, the guy's career is stalled. Either he needs to go probably to a smaller Spanish team, or I guess if he's getting paid enough, why not go to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, why not? It seems like he's been around for forever, honestly. Um, yeah, if you need one last payday, one big one, that'd be the way to go, and it's probably looking like that might be the way to go for him. All right, Wilfred Zaha to Al Nassr. Obviously, Crystal Palace can't pay the same wages, but I don't understand why more teams aren't looking at him. I guess
For
PSG's been
real.
linked. PSG has been linked, but that's about it.
I mean, I could see him going to Saudi Arabia if I'm being honest. Big payday.
Yep.
He's over 30.
A lot of injuries last year.
So I could see it. I don't
Yeah.
want to see it, but I could.
No. Well, I don't want to see any of these players leaving, but
I wouldn't mind the one a couple down.
yeah, me neither. This one honestly doesn't really makes a ton of sense, I should say. Seko Fofana from Law to Al Nassr.
Well, he's young, isn't he?
Yes.
He's a defensive midfielder, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Midfielder.
Yep.
What the season Law had, he could probably get a move to Europe, a bigger team in Europe, I'm guessing. So that's what I would do if I were him.
Yeah, I mean he's 26, 28, sorry.
So he's in his prime, man. You don't want to go to Saudi Arabia when you're in your prime.
No. Yeah, or Ivory Coast national midfielder. Yeah, that one kind of makes sense to me. Kind of doesn't. You guy who's never seen that kind of money getting an offer like that.
But I mean, still, if you're going to a bigger team in Europe, you'll get more money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you'd have to have someone bid on you first, though. So, okay. Jesse Lingard.
That is one I could see going to Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
Yeah, he just came out.
Mr. What was his celebration thing? Is
I don't know.
whatever he did, his rock and roll sign or I love you sign, whatever it is.
I don't know. I don't know what happened to his career either.
You do know. I know what happened to his career. He sucked at Nottingham Forest. That's what happened.
Yeah. He was good at West Ham.
He was. I was honestly thinking maybe probably wouldn't live up quite to those expectations, but would do better than what he did, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was garbage.
Dare I say it? Dele Alli 2.0?
Except Dele Alli, I think, is still younger.
Yeah, but Jesse Lingard did play in the Premier League for a heck of a lot longer. So, Neymar to Al Hilal.
No.
You don't see it?
No, not yet. 2-3 years, maybe.
For me, it kind of makes sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
Just because, hear me out, Neymar's lifestyle, the amount of wages that he asks for and demands, not many teams are going to pay it. And right now, nobody wants to pay PSG for him. Besides maybe Chelsea. Yeah, you can stay at PSG. I don't know. Fans aren't happy with him over there. Maybe he just wants to get away. Then he can take as many breaks as he wants.
He shouldn't for his career's sake.
No, I agree. But for his lifestyle, it kind of makes sense. David De Gea, after Manchester United apparently offered him lower wages, and then he agreed to those terms, and then they didn't sign it, and then offered him even lower wages.
Is that what's going on?
If I'm David De Gea, I'm like, man, this is a slap in the face. I've been your goalie for 10 years.
I feel like it's been longer than that, man. He's been there for forever.
Yeah. And what did he sign at? Like 16 or 17?
No, I don't think he was quite that young. Maybe 19.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, he's no spring chicken either, but I mean, he's still a goalie. He's, I think, what, 32?
Yep.
33,
32.
something like that. 32. Yeah. So, I mean, he's still got a good couple years left. Hugo
Yeah,
Lloris, I could see going to Saudi Arabia.
that makes sense.
That would be probably a better fit.
That makes total sense. But yeah, I mean David De Gea, I don't know why Manchester United are lowballing him. They really need to
I mean, you
just
saw some of his errors.
yes, but I also saw some of his saves. So
He was probably one of their highest earners too. So
yeah, 19.5 million pounds a year. It's a pretty
it's a
penny.
good chunk. Good
Yeah,
chunk for a goalkeeper.
yeah. All right. Last but not least, Antoine Griezmann.
Oh man, after the season he just had in La Liga, heck no.
Right? And he's quoted on going to Al Nassr for only 25 million
Heck
after the
no.
season he just had. If I'm
If I would
any
have
club around Europe and they want 25 mil for him, I'm like, I'll take him. Give him to me.
had 40
Except
mil
for
to that,
Barcelona.
then maybe.
Yeah. Except for maybe Barcelona, right? Because that didn't work out so well the first time. All right. What do you guys think about all of these, talks about all these big names going to Saudi Arabia and the kind of money they're offering up? What are your opinions? Let us know. All right, moving on to some news about some American players. I mean, it makes sense, right? It is America Day.
Fourth
So
of July,
Timothy
yep.
Weah,
Juve.
12 million pound transfer to Juventus. Thoughts?
Why not? The
Yeah.
way Juve have been, they can use something younger and maybe a little quicker.
Yeah, I saw some rumors out that they signed him to replace Juan Cordado, and they're going to play him as a right wing back.
Quadrado, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quadrado's up there, man. He's like 34, 35.
Yeah, he's been around a long time. So Timothy Weah,
He just needs to
right
ask Weston McKinney
wing
how he
back.
likes it.
Yeah, that's true. Who is there currently and should be shipped out soon. PSG signed Lucas Hernandez from Bayern Munich.
I don't remember seeing Lucas Hernandez play much for Bayern Munich. I guess he's
Yeah,
been injured.
injured quite a bit the last couple of years too, if I'm
I
not
thought
mistaken.
PSG had a young Mendez, that left back for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're going with Hernandez now too, getting another Frenchman. Fantastic signing. I mean, he's a
Yeah,
great left back.
but when you have one of the most exciting young left backs in the world, I don't know why you would sign someone like Lucas Hernandez to essentially replace him, because Lucas
Kinda,
Hernandez
yeah.
is not going to sit on the bench. I don't know. PSG's transfers have always baffled me, except for
They have.
maybe
They only have the
Mbappe,
two most expensive transfers of all time, but
right? Yeah. A very interesting one. AC Milan have signed Ruben Loftus-Cheek from Chelsea for 16 million.
I think it's a pretty good sign.
Yeah.
16 mil for Ruben Loftus-Cheek?
Yes, it's definitely a steal. I would suspect that they signed him to replace Sandro Tonali, who went to Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean he's great athleticism in that midfield, man. I think he might flourish in Italy where the game's a little slower.
Yeah, I think so too. Adrian Rabiot has signed a contract extension for Juventus and will stay there next season.
All right. Good for
Kind of
him.
expected that, but
Yeah.
I thought Manchester United would at least give him a contract bid. I don't know. All right, transfer drama. Apparently, Harry Kane has agreed to personal terms to a move to Bayern Munich, only to have Daniel Levy tell him, "You're not going anywhere." He's not
That's
available
too
for
bad.
transfer.
Daniel
Yeah,
Levy's the worst, man.
dude, he's so bad. He's
Just
so
let Harry
bad.
Kane go.
He's worse than the Glazers are at Manchester United.
Just let Harry Kane go win a trophy. Damn. Why is it so hard?
You could sign 2 or 3 solid strikers that combined will get you what Harry Kane did for you for 100 million.
I mean, I don't think Bayern were offering that though. Weren't they offering like 70? Something like that?
I'm sure they could find 100 mil if Daniel Levy's like, this is the price you have to pay to sign him.
Then I would
Or
say
at
Bayern
least they'll
Munich should
throw
go
in a.
all out for him, man, because they need a center forward.
They do.
Bad.
They
They got
do.
all those wingers interchanging, but none of them are the level of Harry Kane when it comes to
Right.
finishing.
And then, Harry Kane wins a trophy his very first year outside of Tottenham.
Everyone does, man.
Yeah. Even when you're on loan from Tottenham,
That should
you
be
win
the
a
thing.
trophy.
Sign a Tottenham player. You're guaranteed to win a trophy.
Speaking of Spurs, they're in advanced talks to sign James Maddison ahead of Newcastle.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be one of those two clubs,
Yeah.
Newcastle or Spurs.
Yeah.
They
And
desperately needed that attacking midfielder, creative midfielder.
they
They've missed
have
that.
since Christian Eriksen left, they definitely missed that. All right, AC Milan have set their sights on Yunus Musa to replace Sandro Tonali. Villarreal only want $20 million for the American midfielder.
Get him.
Yeah, he's
Get him.
young.
Is
very
it Villarreal
impressed.
or Valencia?
Villarreal, I believe. I could be wrong.
Now I want to look.
You're right.
Gotcha. It's Valencia.
You got me. Valencia. Anyways, Valencia.
Kind of an American soccer fan are you, man?
Not much, to be honest with you. Let's see. What's next? Okay. So this is more speculation. I don't know if I believe it or not, but you let me know what you think. According to FIFA agent Marco Kurtemir, he claims...
I'll stop you right there. I saw this.
Yeah.
No way, man. No way.
That's what I thought.
So it's basically Liverpool are willing to spend, was it $258 million for Kylian Mbappe? So they wouldn't buy Jude Bellingham. They're going to spend double for Kylian Mbappe? No way. Get out of here with that dumb rumor.
I laughed when I saw it. So
it's funny. Don't get me wrong.
I wanted to put it in here to see your reaction, to be honest with you.
Stop you right there. Funny. That ain't...
Yeah. Yep. Arsenal have signed Jurrien Timber for a reported fee of $45 million, making him their second signing of the summer.
Hopefully, it hasn't happened quite yet at time of this recording, but by the time this goes out, hopefully it's
there is a
settled.
bid in, and it's looking close at the very minimum. Great signing for Arsenal. I will say.
That'd be fantastic for them.
Yep. Close the deal with the one Declan Rice, and it's looking like a pretty good summer, and the transfer window hasn't really even started yet.
Yeah, if they can get those three players and then kind of ship out the players they don't want.
It's not a typical Arsenal transfer window, I will say that. It's quite refreshing. Arsenal trying to sign Xavi Simons on the cheap after news of his release clause from PSG. Fun fact, his agent is Darren Dean, son of one former Arsenal board member, and David Dean.
Interesting.
So, fun fact.
We'll see if that
PSG have signed Ricardo Pepi from Augsburg for $10 million.
Yep, got the American. Good job.
On the move. And not an American, but a coming to America moment from one Timu Puki. He's joined Minnesota United. Remember when he was banging in the goals for Norwich?
Yes, I do. In the championship.
Yeah.
A little bit in the Prem.
And Premier League,
a little bit in the Prem. Not quite as prolific, but...
yeah, it's very streaky.
Curious to see how he does in MLS.
Yeah, me too. Especially if he's still got, the legs he had in the Premier League or not.
And he's up there. So, he's 33.
Yeah.
So, might be slowing down a bit. Came to MLS.
Yeah, he was in the Premier League quite a while ago, it seems like. Spurs have signed 26-year-old Italian goalkeeper Guglielmo
Vicario
from Empoli for $19 million. So they finally have a goalie. I don't know how good he is. I haven't seen him play, to be honest. Yeah.
We'll find out here soon.
Yeah. They have another goalie. I guess that's really what matters. They have options. Real Madrid are planning to appoint Xabi Alonso as their new head coach after Carlo Ancelotti leaves in 2024. That is only if he stays that long.
Yeah, and I don't know. Things could, not to put this evil out there, but things could go bad for him at Bayer Leverkusen. I hope they don't. He did
I
really
hope not
well since
too.
taking over last October. But is he ready for that step up to Real Madrid? I don't
To be
know.
honest with you, I don't know, but I thought the same thing of Xavi at Barcelona, and he's done fantastic. I thought the same thing of Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. He's been fantastic for the most part.
The beginning
Uh,
was rough
yeah,
for
but then
Arteta.
you have the other side of the coin in Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard, who have been awful. So could go either way. Manchester City and Arsenal have entered a bidding war for Declan Rice. The latest bid from Arsenal was a record for an English player and for Arsenal at 100 million plus 5 million in add-ons. Thoughts?
This one's gonna be interesting, man. So Man City and Arsenal, it's gonna suck. Whoever gets them, this price is just gonna go up and up with this bidding war going on. My real question is, I guess if I'm in Declan Rice's shoes, who do I want to go to? Arsenal, where you're going to be playing. It's a fun project, or do you go to treble-winning Man City, where you're going to have to fight Rodri, or maybe you play a little bit more forward? I guess a more forward position, kind of like Gundogan did. But you're probably guaranteed a trophy there.
At least one. Yeah. So
Honestly,
if you're Declan Rice, what would you do?
Oh, I'd go to Man City. Play under Pep Guardiola? Come on, man. That's an easy choice.
For me, it's more
That's
of this.
That's an easy choice, man.
It's more of this. Every single person that has talked to Mikel Arteta that Arsenal has signed have said the reason they signed was because of him and the project he's trying to build. Before I answer that question, I want to know what the heck he's saying.
Right?
Because it's something obviously that we don't know. Granted, they have a great young squad, finished second last year. I mean, the questions are, can they keep that up? Was that a one-season wonder? I don't think it is. But the Premier League's only going to get more competitive with these guys. The ceiling is super high, but we've seen it. Classic Arsenal, very inconsistent. They let you down in times when it matters. So if I'm Declan Rice, I don't know. It all depends.
Man. You know you're picking Man City. Get out of here.
As of right now, not knowing what Mikel Arteta says to these players, you're right. But if I don't know.
If he gives you his spiel, you never know, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you never know.
What if Pep Guardiola then comes and give you his spiel?
Well, I'm not guaranteed to start. One. I don't know, man. They're two great coaches. I never liked
that as a player. I don't know about you, but I never liked that as a player. Oh, you're guaranteed starter. Like, no, I want to fight for my position. I always liked it when there was a little competition, man. It makes you better as a player, one. And it's just, it makes it that's much more satisfying when you are on the field.
Yeah, and I get it. I don't know.
I've been in both positions where it's like, oh, I know I'm going to play. So, you can kind of mess around during practices a little bit. Not have to try probably
I've never been that kind of person, though. Even when I was guaranteed starting, I'm giving my all every single, just my personal pride. I want to be better than I was the day before. So I'm never
for me, it's I want to be better than everyone else. And so if everyone else is, it's almost like if you've been on a good team and you'll play down to a team you're playing.
Yeah.
Sort of that kind of situation. Like I didn't want to play down to the players around me. I wanted to be, up at that higher level. And so I think that would be for Declan Rice. I mean, obviously these are all professionals, very skilled, fantastic. But I mean, Man City are leaps ahead of Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, if Declan Rice decides to go to Arsenal, that closes a couple of those leaps, but
it does. Still,
still a couple leaps
for the sake of the league, he goes to Arsenal.
I 100% agree.
But if you're Declan Rice, man, and you got Man City or Arsenal, I mean, picking the team that just won the treble.
Ultimately, it's going to be who's going to pay West Ham for him. So
it is, yeah.
It could just be one of them, and one of them doesn't want to pay. Who knows? Lots of good options out there that are going to be less expensive. That's for sure.
So, okay, if Declan Rice does go to Man City, who does Arsenal go for then?
You have to check that out in a future episode of Brews and Banter.
Way to leave me hanging.
All right. Speaking of hypotheticals, let's get into our third and fourth place teams from last year. We're going to start with the only team in England that won a trophy besides Manchester City.
And
They're
West
crosstown
Ham.
rivals.
And West Ham.
And, okay, a trophy in England, not a European trophy.
Still a trophy.
Still a
England.
trophy. Still more than Arsenal. Third place in the Premier League, the Carabao Cup winners, runners-up in the FA Cup, Manchester United. Targo, with all that being said, what grade do you give them for last season?
I give them an A, man. That's a fantastic season if you're Manchester United.
Yeah,
Trophy,
especially
FA Cup
with
final. I mean, come on. That's a great season.
especially with the expectations in the previous season, like from the previous season. They weren't expected to do any of that. So, yeah, it's pretty darn good. I gave them an A minus, mostly because they kind of did what Arsenal did and fell off quite a bit towards the last third of the season.
I would honestly say they didn't start well. That's where I thought they
That
had their
too.
issues, was at the start.
Yeah. But they won a trophy, so that's an automatic A for me because most teams in the country can't do that. Plain and simple. So, team needs for next season to improve on a lot of positions. One of them being goalkeeper. They need a striker. Worse
I would
than
say
anything.
that's their need for the season.
Probably some depth at center back. Another center mid to play alongside Casemiro. And maybe a right winger since, Anthony and Jadon Sancho haven't really panned out.
Yeah, I question that when you put that on here, that a right winger. It's like, man, I really want Sancho to work out. I feel like he has a better chance of working out than Anthony, if I'm being honest.
Agree. I 100% agree. And
You saw the stuff he did at Dortmund, and you see glimpses of him for Man United, and then he just kind of disappears almost.
Yeah.
So I don't want to write him off yet, and so I probably wouldn't go for a right winger.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on if they sell one of the two or not.
Yeah, if they sell, let's go through their squad, shall we?
Yeah.
So start at goalkeeper: David De Gea, Heaton, Bishop, Butlin, Vitek,
Dean Henderson.
Dean Henderson out on loan. Honestly, if I'm Man United, I just give it to Dean Henderson. Save the money.
Yeah. David De Gea is going to go out on free. You'll probably make that in a couple of weeks, what you would get for a transfer for him and made up difference in wages. And arguably you'd be getting a younger goalie with higher potential. Never seen Dean Henderson on a top flight club. Not top flight, top tier club. But
and so then I guess if they do want to go or buy a goalie, who would you look at? David Raya, probably. Everyone's looking at him.
So for me, it'd be more of I really like Diogo Costa from Porto.
Porto, yeah.
He's really good with his feet, kind of fitting that Ten Hag style. And then, Andre Onana is another obvious choice if you're looking for that kind of goalie. Is fantastic in the Champions League final, and for Inter all the way up until then. And then, yeah, probably my third choice would be David Raya for Manchester United. How about you?
Honestly, yeah, all the ones you mentioned, you could throw in the AC Milan goalkeeper, Magic Mike. Mm. But how about Kobel from Borussia Dortmund? I think he could potentially fit in there.
Yeah, and especially if Manchester United are under, some strict FIFA fair play regulations, he wouldn't cost a whole lot.
And see, so that's kind of where my head's at. That's why I honestly would go with Dean Henderson and try to spend a majority of that money on a striker, because that's what it's going to cost them big.
Yeah, a lot of money. Because, Wout Weghorst went back to Burnley. Anthony Martial is looking like they want to get rid of him. So if you're Manchester United, You know you got a limited budget. Who are you going to go after?
Well, if I save money and not buying in those other positions, then hopefully you have some money to spend. But it's tough, man. I mean, there's not a lot of like good strikers that could make them better, I guess. You
Or
know,
at least that are
besi-
proven. Yeah.
yeah, obviously besides the Harry Kane, I mean, maybe a Tammy Abraham at least gives you a striker. If you want to
Yeah.
go big, maybe Lautaro Martinez. You could also look at, I know a player you're fond of, Evan Ferguson
Yeah.
from Brighton. You could look at Ollie Watkins. I don't know how much he would cost.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Jonathan David.
John, yeah, that's a name that most people don't ever mention. Jonathan David, like he's a stud. Been doing it in France for ages. It seems like Tammy Abraham for me. Is he gonna be that prolific enough
Oh
guy?
no, I don't think he will.
Um, yeah. If the problem is how much are each of these guys going to cost? Right, Lautaro Martinez minimum 60, 70 mil.
I suspect
Tammy
upwards,
Abraham
closer to 70,
probably going
80,
to
100.
be less than that, but around the same figure. Jonathan David, probably 30, 40 mil. So, okay, getting closer. Ollie Watkins is probably going to be 50 just because he's English. I mean, names that they've been linked with Harry Kane, they're out of the running for him. He's too expensive. Rasmus Hoyland, he's going to cost you 80. Victor Osimhen, 150. Gonzalo Ramos, 100. There was a couple that you could go after. Victor Boniface from Union Saint-Gilloise. Not proven, but he's a big guy. Kind of fits that similar mold that Manchester United are looking for.
Couldn't be worse than Wout Weghorst, man.
Nobody can be worse than Wout Weghorst. There's a certain Moussa Dembele who's a free transfer. Give you some depth at minimum. I don't think he's going to be the quality you need, but he'll be a quality backup. And then, call me crazy. There's a certain guy who's about 30 mil, plays for Chelsea, played for Inter last season, and Romelu Lukaku.
Bring him back to Man United? I am going to call you crazy, man.
Yeah.
No way. No way. He already got burned, man.
If Ten Hag can light a fire under his ass.
No. I think honestly you'd be better off bringing in another winger and playing Marcus Rashford out there.
Probably.
Get Mohamed Kudus or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players. I mean, they're looking at Mason Mount right now. They've put in a couple bids for him.
Looks like they dropped out. They don't want to pay what Chelsea think he's worth.
Yeah, which is crazy to me because Chelsea don't really want him. He didn't play it all last year, really. Why do you want so much money for him? Just because he's English? I don't understand.
Versus Kovacic, they let go to Man City.
25 mil plus 5 in add-ons.
He played more than Mason Mount.
A lot more. And arguably would be, I don't want to say a worse signing, but he's got less potential. He's a lot older. So
he is, yeah.
I don't know.
Kovacic isn't Mount. But yeah, I mean, I guess a couple outlandish ones that I thought of would have been Kolomoani, obviously, but again, 80, 100 mil.
Yeah.
But how about a Sadio Mane from Bayern Munich? Think he would trade allegiances from Liverpool to Manchester?
At this point in his career, I don't know if
Michael Owen did.
I don't really know if it matters to him. It probably does because of the type of person he is. But at the end of the day, it's who's going to play you. Liverpool don't want him back. You're not going to sign.
Seems like Bayern want to offload him with the
and you get him for on the cheap. That fits that mold of playing him, as a winger and putting Rashford up top. Still need a backup striker, especially since Sadio Mane is getting up there in age. But that's not a bad idea. if you're Manchester United. I mean, what Bayern wants, what, like 15 mil for him? 20 mil?
I think they'll probably want it closer to 30 or 40, but
I don't think they'll get any more than 25, but who knows? Okay. So, midfield. We know that McFred has really been hit or miss for them. Fred sometimes looks like a world beater.
he
Scott
really
McTominay
does, doesn't he?
sometimes looks like a world beater, but about 70% of the time, they both look like they should not be playing for Manchester United, at least the caliber of team that they are.
Well, and they usually don't. It's usually Casemiro, Eriksson, Bruno Fernandes in that midfield. It's those three. And it seems like Casemiro, Eriksson sit back a little bit, and Bruno Fernandes has the more freedom to get forward.
Yeah.
And so, what would you bring in? Would you bring in another offensive, kind of play two offensive, and have Casemiro as a defensive midfielder, or would
I'm
you bring
thinking
more of an actual defensive midfielder to sit along Casemiro?
if you bring in more of an attacking mid, you probably want someone who can also play up the right side, just in case Anthony or Jadon Sancho don't pan out. So that's why I thought of more of like a Michael Olise. But then again, we're talking about how much does he cost? Um, Dominic Szoboszlai from RB Leipzig, Danny Olmo also. Both of them can play right, left, or attacking mid.
So I went the opposite route. I went with another defensive midfielder there to sit alongside Casemiro.
Yeah. I mean, I went kind of more towards the attacking side of things because it was more, you could cover both the right wing and center mid. But yeah, I mean, Eriksson's best position is a little further forward, let's be honest. So
Yes, it is.
a defensive midfielder is probably a better signing as far as the style of play and to create some. I mean, you can always push Bruno Fernandes out to the right.
You can,
So,
exactly. And so some names that came to my mind is I did see they're already being linked with Moises Caicedo. They're going to probably enter that race, which fantastic. That'd be fantastic for him.
Yeah.
Maybe a Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa.
Yeah. I know Arsenal were linked to him for what, 25 mil last year?
So you can get two Brazilians sitting in there.
Mm-hmm.
Edson Alvarez, the Mexican from Ajax.
Yeah. I'm surprised more teams haven't gone after him. I mean, Dortmund's been linked, but they haven't put in a bid yet.
Yep, he's been linked with a couple clubs. And then honestly, the best option would have been who they were linked with last year in Frankie de Jong. That way it's almost a hybrid because he's not really defensive, but he's not really offensive either. He kind of goes.
It's more of that box to box number 8 style. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a great signing. I mean, I know you have David Fertesi on here.
Yeah,
he would also be a great signing.
From Sassuolo.
Mm-hmm.
I only watched him, honestly, I probably watched Sassuolo 2 or 3 times last year. So I didn't see a whole lot of him, but
he was very impressive every time I did watch him, and it probably is no more than the 2 or 3 times that you did, to be honest with you. But yeah, he's consistent, right? He plays.
He was one of Sassuolo's better players, along with him and Parati.
Yeah, and you're not, you know what you're getting, and I'm not gonna lie to you, he's not gonna cost a ton.
Not no 70 million like Moises Caicedo.
No. I mean, max, I would say probably 50.
I was thinking somewhere, 40, 50.
Yeah. So, I mean, all of this fits within the budget of Manchester United. I'm going to guess they're going to have to sell a couple players before they get a second player in.
Well, let's see. Who could they sell?
Okay, so Wout Weghorst went back to Burnley. Marcel Sabitzer went back to Bayern. Phil Jones left on a free. So we're thinking you could sell Harry Maguire, number 1. West Ham and Tottenham have both been linked to him. You could technically, if you re-sign De Gea, you could sell Dean Henderson. One of them has to go, I would say.
Probably.
You can sell Anthony Martial, Scott McTominay. They still have Eric Bailly, by the way.
Bailly, yep, they could sell him for sure.
And Donny van der Beek. You either play him or sell him. One of the two.
They need to sell him for sure.
So that's, I mean, you probably get over 100 mil if you sold at least 5 of them. And you got Alex Telles as well.
Yeah, because in that left back position, you think they got Brandon Williams and Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia.
Yeah, pretty deep on the
Right
left
back,
wing.
you got Diogo Dallo, Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
So
So that would probably leave you, if you're getting rid of Harry Maguire and Eric Bailly, only leaves you with 3 center backs. Really, Lindelof, Varane, and Lissandro Martinez. So you mentioned a center back. Do you have any that you would?
I mean, Evan and Ndika would have been a great one. If I'm not mistaken, he's still technically a free agent. I know he was in talks to go to Roma.
I would say I think they signed him.
Yeah. I mean, Kim and Jay hasn't officially signed for Bayern Munich yet. Could go after him. I mean, if Bayern Munich are going to bring in a defender, you would think they want to get rid of one. So maybe Upamecano. I mean, yes, Upa Maguire. I get it. You don't want to replace one with another. I will say he is much better than Harry Maguire.
How about Fikayo Tomori?
Yeah, that would be another great one. I mean, he is
Go big,
English.
get Alessandro Bastoni.
Yeah. There's a lot of good defenders out there, man.
Maybe even go cheaper, Everton, get Tarkovsky or someone of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, you could go over to West Ham and get Kurt Zuma as well. He had a pretty good season last year. It's all depth, right? You want to get some depth in, so they don't have to be an out and out starter. I mean, the better you can get, the better it is, but you never know.
Probably get rid of Anthony Elanga too.
You could, definitely.
Amad Diallo probably could go.
Yeah, or at the very minimum, send them both out on loan. I mean, they have a ton of young talent, so they can send some of these players on loan to the teams they're buying from as well. Kind of drive down the price a little bit. So they got a lot of different options they can use. I mean, they could even exchange some of these players. I mean, you don't think that AC Milan wouldn't want a Anthony Martial or a Dean Henderson
Probably not Dean Henderson, but
or
Martial, yeah.
even a Donny Van Der Beek.
Van de Beek, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, a lot of these players, you could go get Mohamed Kudus and send Van Der Beek back to Ajax.
Oh, we might be on to something there, man.
Just saying. It's a lot of options for Manchester United. Not straight cash, but they have options nonetheless. So, expectations going into next season for Manchester United. Personally, I think winning another trophy is probably up there. Top 4 and a relatively deep run in the Champions League.
So yeah, I think Man United's expectations versus realistic expectations will be different. I think they'll expect to probably challenge for the title. Whether that'll happen or not, we'll see. I kind of agree with you. Yeah, they'll challenge for top 4. Expect to get into at least the round of 16 for the Champions League.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously they would love another trophy. Carabao Cup, FA Cup.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think they probably get into the round of 16 in the Champions League. I don't know if they're going to make top 4. They have to sign a striker and one that's going to score them more goals than what they got last year.
Top 4 is going to be tight, man.
It's going to be tough. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, always Man City. Newcastle's emergence has
Arsenal's reemergence. You have Brighton, Chelsea.
You expect Liverpool to obviously be better than they were.
Yeah. It's going to be tough, man. Someone's heart's going to get broken this year.
I do think Ten Hag's a great coach, though, and I think Man United may get into that top 4.
Yeah. It's who won't get into the top 4, I think, is probably a better question. So in making in the top 4, Manchester United's first 5 fixtures. That's a mouthful. Got Wolves at home to start the season. Then they go to Tottenham Stadium, play Spurs, play Nottingham Forest at home, go to the Emirates Stadium to play Arsenal, and then play Brighton at home. Not an easy first 5 games.
No, it's not.
I would think if I'm Manchester United, probably minimum of 10 points.
I was thinking, yeah, somewhere between 9 and 12.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're going to beat Arsenal at home.
Brighton could be tough.
Brighton will be tough.
Away at Spurs could be tough.
Could be. I think they'll probably beat Wolves and Forest at home, though, at Old Trafford.
Yes.
Easy. Yeah. So what do you guys think? What do Manchester United need? Do they need anything besides a striker? Is there any positions we missed? You got any suggestions for who they should sign? Let us know. So let's get to Newcastle, the team that surprised everybody last year, made it into the top 4, looked like they were comfortably going to make it into 3rd place, and then got 4th. So
now we kind of suspected they would get 4th in our
crystal
ball, yeah.
So from that crystal ball, I think we both predicted them to get 4th, or is that just me? I don't remember. Anyway,
not maybe at the beginning, but by the couple months before the season ended, I think we had both said, yeah, they'll probably get 4th.
Yeah. So I think it was deservedly so. I mean, they tied for the best defense in the Premier League for a long part of the season. They had the best defense in the Premier League. Started leaking goals at the end, but they also started scoring a lot of goals. So grade for last season, Targo, Newcastle
A+,
United.
man. A+. I don't think anyone saw him finishing top 4. I didn't.
Not at the beginning of the season.
Not at the beginning of the season, anyway.
And then you look at their squad on paper and you think, no way. But Eddie Howe,
look how they were playing, man.
Eddie
That's
Howe,
the thing.
Probably my vote for manager of the season.
I mean, they were just fun to watch at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I give them an A+ as well. Yeah. No one expected them getting top 4. Now they have the Champions League for the first time in, what was it, almost 20 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. Fantastic achievement. They have tons of money. They're spending it very wisely. So as far as what their team needs,
this one was hard.
It was. And I went very broad and said squad depth. But they've been linked to a bunch of left backs. So I guess they don't want to see Dan Burn as a permanent option out there. Maybe they want someone a little more attacking.
Probably another midfielder too, Sean Longstaff. Yeah. I don't think they see as their long-term future in that midfield.
Yeah. So center mid, I would say left wing as well. Alan St. Maxima has shown to be not a great sub coming off the bench. So,
but seems like Isak's been playing out there.
Yeah,
Callum Wilson through the middle
towards the end of the season there. So, I mean, it was hard to find what this team needs besides squad depth and be more specific with it. I mean, if you're going to play Isak on the left, probably another striker. If you're not, probably a left winger. One of the two. So they probably could also go with a better backup goalkeeper as well.
Yeah. I mean, they got Dubravka, who's not terrible, but he's getting up there.
Any younger. Yeah.
Good old Loris Karius.
Liverpool fans will know him all too well. Mark Gillespie, he did a job for, the other 3 when they were out. But is he a long-term choice at your backup? I don't think so. And, I mean, Nick Pope's not getting any younger either. He is 31. So maybe you go out and sign a young goalie. I don't know.
Probably. Get someone younger who can probably be molded into a first-team goalkeeper in a couple years.
Yeah. More importantly, someone that would be happy to sit in second, or at least compete for the job.
Well, they're going to be playing Champions League, man. They'll have a lot of games.
Yes, they will. So far, they've signed Sandro Tonali.
Whoo, what a signing, man.
What a signing. In my opinion, probably the reincarnation of Gennaro Gattuso.
I know a lot of
maybe.
people compare him more to Andrea Pirlo.
I think he's more of a Gattuso in my opinion, but he's
I think
just
he's
not as
somewhere in
good on the
between.
ball as Pirlo, and
I
it's
think he's
hard
somewhere
to
in
find that.
between.
Yeah.
But he kind of has the same story as Andrea Pirlo. Started at Brescia,
Mhm.
got his dream move to his boyhood club, AC Milan. He's young still, man.
Yeah, he's 23, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and 70 mil, it's pretty penny, but I think it's worth it for a player who is proven.
Is it
He'll
70 or I thought it was 80?
it might be 80 million euros and 70 million pounds.
Either way, it's a lot.
Yeah, either way. Uh, yeah, I mean, players that could leave. I mean, Alan Saint Maximin. I guess you could go for some of their players that are kind of on the fringes, but they don't really have a lot of excess players that they can sell
No, and even with
without
Tonali
bringing
coming
in a
in,
bunch.
obviously Bruno Guimaraes is going to play in there in that
Yeah,
midfield.
yeah, and
So where's
then
that leave Joelinton, Joe Willock? I mentioned Sean Langstaff. Um, Jacob Murphy, where's that leave him?
like you said, there you got Champions League football. There's gonna be a lot of games.
I mean, I do see a couple players they could probably get rid of. Matt Ritchie, Ryan Fraser.
Yeah, probably. Um, and probably get rid of Jamal Assell. Maybe a
But I know you
Paul
mentioned
Drummond.
a winger, if a left winger, if they do get rid of St. Maximin. You forget, man, they spent like 40 million on Anthony Gordon from Everton.
I do forget, but that's also because he was not very good when he played.
No, he was not. So I mean, do we already write him off, or do we give him a chance? Like, that's the big question there with him.
Fair, fair. So okay, they bought him for a reason. Let's say they give him a chance. So
I mean, he's
okay,
still
go to your left
young.
winger. He is. He's only 22. So okay, you got Sandro Tonali, you got Bruno Guimaraes in the midfield. Does that allow players like Joelinton and Joe Willock to get further forward? Give them a
Either
little more
that or you use him
freedom,
as rotation. I mean, one of them's going to have to
or
be rotation.
yeah, one of them will be. I was also going to suggest maybe do they buy another defensive midfielder and let Bruno Guimaraes get further forward?
So then Joelinton and Joe Willock pretty much aren't going to be playing at all.
One of them, or it just gives you a bunch of different options in midfield.
It does. So then you're thinking playing with two defensive midfielders and then kind of more of an offensive, and then three
Yeah,
up top. I'm guessing 3 along the top.
yeah,
Yeah, you could, or you could switch things up again and kind of play more of a flat 3 in the midfield.
yeah.
Bring off one
I
of
know
those defensive midfielders.
you can definitely play, Tonali as a 6. Maybe put Bruno Guimaraes as more of a box to box midfielder. Open it up a little bit. Maybe you get 3 similar midfielders that can all rotate, that are all good at playing the number 8 or number 6 role. And kind of mix it up that way. I don't know. Newcastle, they're going to be good this year, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the transfer.
They're going to have options in that midfield, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So if you are them, midfielders, who would you go after?
Honestly, a couple that came to my mind. Jack Harrison was the first one from Leeds.
Yeah, that'd be a hell
He
of
was
a
in my
signing.
underrated team of the season. Leeds player, just got relegated. Had a
Fits the
few
fits the
goals,
Eddie
few
Howe
assists
bill.
last season. What's that?
Yeah, fits the bill. Fits the bill of players that Eddie Howe goes after.
I know they've been linked with Romeo Lavia. You could throw Amadou Unana, maybe Abrici Eze, Wilfred Nanto, who I know you're a fan of.
Very big fan. Yeah, it's a little bit
Musa
more of a
Diaby from
winger.
Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, another
I think that'd
winger.
probably be more of a right winger forward to give Miguel Amiran some competition.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, those are all great choices. They're all
those are the
Premier League
attacking
proven
players, I
players.
guess they could look at.
James Madison.
Yeah, they've been linked with him.
You go after more of a James Ward-Prowse. You get
I think it would give him
someone,
good depth. I don't think he
yeah,
starts.
yeah. Nicolo Barella.
Oh, I was hoping to get him in the Prim, but I think they walked away from that one.
Hey, you never know. They could go back. He is a little bit more attacking. A guy who I'm a big fan of, Dominic Szoboszlai.
I'm guessing he'd probably be
Uh,
more out on a wing though than in that midfield,
yeah, I mean
similar to Musa
play.
Diaby.
He can play as more of a 10 if you need him to. Give them a little bit more fluidity up between those front four. A name that I've seen might leave Chelsea, Conor Gallagher.
That could be a good one.
Um, you could go for Jack Harrison's teammate at Leeds, Tyler Adams.
There's the defensive option for you.
Yeah. Or David Fertesi from Sassuolo. Any of those are good options. It just depends on which way they want to go. So, I mean, as far as wingers, Harvey Barnes is available.
Can't
Goes
ship
right
out
on the
Anthony
left.
Gordon.
At least some more competition,
I
right?
mean, honestly, Jack Harrison I think could play there too in that
Yeah.
attacking role.
I know you'd mentioned him earlier. Sadio
Nanto,
Mane.
Sadio Mane, yeah. I think that Wilfred Nanto would be a good one.
I do too. I'm a huge fan of his. He's got tons of talent, huge ceiling. I was secretly hoping he would go to Arsenal, but got a whole summer to figure that one out. He would be a great fit at Newcastle. Yes, he would. Okay, so left back, Targo,
That's what I
in
think they need.
Newcastle. You said you do or don't?
I think they need a left back, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So who would you go after if you're Newcastle?
So there's a whole host, man. I think my first two would be João Cancelo,
Yeah.
Federico DiMarco.
Yes. It's a player that is completely different than anything they have. He's feisty. He fits right
Quick.
into that Newcastle back line with the mentality that they have. And yeah, man, he's so good going forward and he's so fast.
Some other ones could be Purvis Estupiñán from
Yeah,
Brighton.
I'm surprised more teams aren't linked with him.
Same. He was a fantastic left back
And he's
last
young.
season.
He's young too.
He is. And then another one is Tyrick Mitchell from Crystal
Yeah.
Palace, left back, Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I think he could be another option. Also young. And then I see some on your list that, yeah, I think would make sense as well. So I didn't mention them. I'll let you go.
I appreciate it. Yeah, leave me some table scraps here, buddy. Okay, so I'll start big and then go down.
Okay.
One player that I guess I've called the best left back in the world, but you've been maybe on him. Teo Hernandez from AC Milan, man.
Maybe if they were dreaming.
Yeah,
I don't think I see that happening, man.
they have the money, that's for sure. But I think you're onto something there. Someone that's been linked to them a lot, Kieran Tierney of Arsenal.
I do think he'd be a fantastic signing for him.
Don't think he's going to leave Arsenal by the sound of things, but I mean, you offer Arsenal some money, it'd definitely be tempted. He would be, certainly.
I think if an offer comes in for him that's, it's a decent sum, they may take it.
Yeah. I think it'd probably have to be over 40.
I was thinking, I bet if you offered him 40 mil for Kieran Tierney,
They
then
definitely
they might
think about it.
They would be considering.
Yeah, I agree. And then one American left back, Anthony Robinson. I know you had him on your list too. It just makes sense, man. 35 mil is what Fulham want for him. He's fast. He's solid defensively. He's great getting up that left wing. Gives you different option. If you want him to stay back, you can do that too.
Putting in some crosses for Isak and Callum Wilson.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that one just makes sense for them. And then I did put one player on here they've been linked with. And I put him on here not because I think he would be a great fit, but because I wanted to get your opinion on why they were maybe looking at him and why they're linked with him. And that's João Felix. Been linked to Newcastle.
Oh man, I don't want to
Where
see it.
would he even
No,
fit in?
I don't know.
Are they going to play him as a 10? He's not a 10.
He's not a
He's
10.
not
He's not a
he's not
9.
really a left or right winger or a striker. So,
He's an attacking player, I guess is the
yeah,
best way to put it.
more of
He likes,
a second striker that plays more as a false 9.
yeah, he does like to drop in into that midfield, get the ball, but then you also see him out on the wing, and
Mm-hmm.
so he does like to move. And but he's not going to be your main man up top.
No,
So
no.
maybe to someone to play off Callum Wilson or Isak.
Maybe I don't know. I was shocked to see they were linked with him. I was like, I don't know if this really makes sense, especially for how much
Curious,
he's going to cost.
yeah. How much was Atletico wanting for him?
I think it was somewhere around 80 mil. I think they just want to get rid of him at this point, but
I think they do too, trying to recoup
at
some
least
of
get
that money they spent.
yeah. It's
When
way
they
too
spent
much money.
110, 120 on him.
Yeah. I mean, from what he looked like at the time, sure. Yeah. I would have signed him too. Maybe not for that much though.
Because he was only like, what,
Okay.
19 or so?
He right now or he
No,
was?
when they bought him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think 18, 19. Yeah. He was very young, but very raw. So it reminds me a lot of, well, I guess Kai Havertz for Leverkusen.
We'll see which Kai Havertz
Which one
Arsenal
pans
get,
out better in the
Leverkusen or
Premier
Chelsea
League?
Havertz.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. Expectations. If you're a Newcastle fan, realistic and what you probably are thinking of next season. Let's go with
Try to
if
get in
you're a
that Champions
Newcastle
League again,
fan.
man. Yeah.
Top
I mean,
four.
you're hoping they get in that Champions League again.
I mean, you think they get 3-4 players in? The fans are starting to think, well, we could challenge for the title.
They might think it, but realistically, no, I don't think that'll be
Yeah.
on the table for them. You
Yeah.
know, I think a Champions League spot should be the goal. Maybe get out of the group in the Champions League. Maybe make it to a Carabao Cup or FA Cup final. I think those are going to be their goals.
Yeah. You know, if I'm a Newcastle fan, I'm not terribly upset either if I get third place in the group in Champions League and make it down into the Europa League. And then you're thinking, well, we probably have a great chance of winning this competition.
Yeah, but also you want Champions League.
Oh, yeah, I know. But that might even be a realistic expectation, depending on who they get drawn with, because they are in pot 4. So
Yeah,
they're not
expectations change when once the season starts. Sometimes,
right? And once the Champions League draw happens, I mean, they're in pot 4. They could get drawn with all the big boys.
and we'll
Group
have
of
to
death.
do an episode of how the Champions League is going to look next year because it's going to be different.
It is. It is. We'll definitely have to do that before it starts. All right. And then speaking of probably the hardest first 5 games of any team in the Premier League, Newcastle's first 5 fixtures, man. They play Aston Villa, who they got walloped by the last time they played. Play them at St. James's Park. And then they go to Manchester City in the Etihad, and then play Liverpool at home, and then go to Brighton, and then play Brentford at home.
That's tough, man.
That's tough. None of these teams are slouches, and all of them are going to give them problems.
So honestly, I could see him getting 9 points, or I could see him getting like 2. Things don't go their way, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the way Villa played last time, Villa could beat them. Obviously,
yeah.
Man City, Liverpool, Brighton can beat them. Maybe
especially
Brentford.
Especially at the Amex.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be tough, man. I think of all of those games, I think beating Brentford is probably most likely.
That one in
because
the Villa, I think. Yeah.
Brentford's not at home and they're at St. James's Park. I'm thinking realistically 6, maybe 7 points out of those first 5. But then you're looking at the teams that, they're battling the top 4 for. They could be 6, 7 points behind by the end of those 5 games. That's terrible. I mean, the only good news out of it is, okay, well, you've played Manchester City at home, you've played Liverpool, and you've gotten Brighton and Aston Villa out of the way.
Gotten a couple of your toughest games right out.
Yeah, right off the bat. So it's a long season. At least they're out of the way. So you got that going for you. But that's about it, man. It's tough.
That is tough, man. That's a rough start.
Yeah. So who do you guys think Newcastle should sign? Where do they need players? How are they going to look come Champions League time? Are they going to get enough players in? Are they going to be able to challenge for the top 4 again? What do you guys think? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know on our Facebook group, Brews and Banter FC, on our Instagram, TikTok, all the good stuff, YouTube. And of course, don't forget to check out our Redbubble. We got the merch. You guys can get your Brews and Banter swag. And on that note, man, thank you guys for listening. We love you. And as always, cheers.
Cheers.